Okay. All right, we'll call the Committee on Public Safety to order at 4 p.m. Please let the record reflect that all committee members are present. If I could have a motion for the September 9th, 2025 minutes.
So moved.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next is public comment on agenda items. I see no members of the public in the room or online, so we will move on. To item 5B, resolution reaffirming the reappointment of Becky Pena and Danielle Gruba to the Ingham County City of Lansing Community Corrections Advisory Board for terms expiring September 17th of 2028. Just to remind the committee that these two reappointments have already been vetted and approved through the Ingham County Board of Commissioners on August 28th of 2025. And they were unanimously voted through by that commission. Do we have any questions or comments before moving on?
Yeah, and I don't know. Thinking, I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I haven't read. I think I've glanced over the community corrections statute, but I haven't really taken a deep dive. Do you know? First of all, what's our role? So when they send this over to us, do we have the ability to reject and then basically ask them to send somebody else? Number one, and then number two, on what grounds could somebody's residency requirement be waived? Because it seems like they do a lot with the county. A lot
So
of residency requirements.
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
The residency requirement is an Ingham County requirement. It's not a City of Lansing requirement. So I don't know what grounds they use to determine that because it's not something that we touch as part of our appointment. The statute speaks to the fact that we are a county city advisory board, and essentially the county makes the appointments with the consent of the city. So I'm just like any other.
So if we said no, they would have to find somebody else to send our way. Okay. And obviously I can talk to a commissioner, just ask them what their thought process is. But I noticed not only with Danielle Gruba, but also with the person.
The upcoming, yes, the
Yeah,
next one as
he
well.
lives actually in Shiawassee County. So
And when we get to that next one, I mean, I have a sense of because it's a business and where
I would assume that's what it is. Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
anyhow,
I would assume.
we
Okay.
can get there. With that, do we
Perfect.
have a motion on this resolution? Or any further consideration?
I'd move the resolution.
All right, a proper motion has been made. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. And next up is the appointment of the business community representative for the Community Corrections Advisory Board. And again, to your point, Councilman Hussein, this was the residency was waived by Ingham County. I do believe this particular individual is affiliated with Shaheen, which is located in South Lansing.
Okay.
So that's my understanding as the business representative. And if, of course.
Is that in the minutes? Or did you know this person? Because I couldn't. Oh, I couldn't find it.
Exemption.
I'm sorry, I don't know. really.
No, it's all good. I didn't see that.
I know it's a big document.
General Manager at Shaheen Chevrolet.
Okay, perfect. So that's what qualifies. I got it. Cool. I just didn't see that. Can I ask a question?
Yeah,
So are
absolutely.
these, I thought the statute called for 6-year terms. Are these typically 6-year terms or are they 3-year terms?
I will have to check the statute quickly.
With that, and we can get that information, that's just for my own edification. I would move the resolution from the appointment of Jason Cords.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That resolution passes. Just as, so long as we have just discussed these items from the Community Corrections Board of Ingham County. Often we, find that we invite partners in to discuss items that kind of cover both areas. Is that something we'd be interested in for this Public Safety Committee, to invite a member or the chair of the Community Corrections Board and maybe ask some of these questions? maybe to better understand how this relationship works between the county and the city, or just kind of ask questions in general like that would touch both entities.
I'm good with it. Yeah,
Okay, is that-
absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Sherry, if we could make a note to reach out to the chair of the Community Corrections Board and invite them into a future meeting, that would be great. Thank you. Next on the agenda is item 5D, a discussion of the city attorney update on an ordinance amendment to chapter 654, the noise ordinance. Oh, it's my understanding that we were not going to take a dive in and, make adjustments, that this was getting a full review by our city attorney's office, and they were going to come up with a new ordinance for us to consider. And I know that we do not have anything in writing today, but more of a verbal update from the city attorney's office on this.
Sure. So I think the first thing I want to mention, I think in your introduction, you referred to it as a new ordinance. I just want to make sure I'm setting expectations of
Okay.
what you guys are likely going to see. At the beginning, when I was looking at this, I was considering a complete overhaul and a complete repeal and replace. I don't necessarily think that that's necessary. There are certain sections in the noise ordinance chapter that are generally fine, specifically the stuff about special permits for noise waivers in the process.
Right.
So I don't necessarily think we need to do a full repeal and replace. There are certain sections that are in its current draft completely taken out and are being replaced, but it's not necessarily a whole chapter. It's a comprehensive review by my office and kind of an analysis as to how to make it neither overbroad nor vague, but also workable and enforceable. And it's kind of a little bit of a dance that I'm working through.
Sure. Any other questions from committee members on the status? And I know that you had mentioned at a previous meeting that this takes a good amount of time to thoroughly vet and consider. You have processes within your office. I don't want to set this on our next agenda too soon, but do you think maybe a month would be appropriate to come back?
I'm hoping, I would really like to have a draft to my office's ordinance review committee by the end of the month. I'm hoping if I can get a couple solid days of desk time, which has not happened for me in a little bit, I'll be able to knock it out. Assuming that I'm able to get it to ordinance review in early October, I think about a month would be fair to
Okay.
have a working draft that you guys can take a look at and provide feedback on. Obviously, as soon as I can get it to you, I will do that.
Okay, thank you. So if we could put this back on in approximately helpful, thank you. All right, moving on to discussion item 5E, the budget priorities for fiscal year 26 and 27. So at our last meeting, we had discussed 5 points, and I would just like to review those and understand if we are still in agreement and they reflect, to your recollection, the conversation from our previous public safety meeting. First, the speed bumps. Previously, we had requested portable speed bumps, and those have been used over this past year. We know that they were successful in the areas that they were utilized in, at least to my knowledge. And the new priority is permanent speed bumps or a raised crosswalk where the portable speed bumps had proved to be successful. The next item was to continue or sustain funding for the LFD apprenticeship or internship program. Next, 2 additional code enforcement officers, as well as funding for in-field technology for code enforcement officers, and then funding for 3 to 6 officers for Lansing Fire Department and Lansing Police Department. Any further conversation, additions, or comments on what we have here? Yes.
I think it looks good. I think that these are good priorities. I think we took a look at what things the mayor included in the budget and then responded to that, which hasn't always, I've sat in this committee 3 years now, hasn't always been the way that we operate. And I think that there are some important things in here. One, maybe thing I would change is number 3, where it has 2 spelled out. I would just use 2 since we're already using the numbers at 3 to 6 to make it look pretty.
Thank you. for
And I don't
that.
often bring up like grammatical things, 'cause I can't spell real good.
What I do appreciate about these priorities is, it shows consistency in our previous priorities, essentially creating these building blocks forward, right? Like we had priorities that had proved successful and now we're going that next step, in some of these. And so I really appreciate that from these priorities that were brought. Any further discussion on these? Okay. All right, and lastly, a discussion, we had asked for a report on code compliance, corridor enforcement from EDP. I was in touch with Director Van Fossen and was told that due to some pre-scheduled trainings and a conference, they were not able to get that report to us, but we'll have it at our next regularly scheduled committee meeting.
Just for clarification, if I
Yes.
may,
Mhm.
they couldn't generate a printed report of the current code enforcement, is what you're saying.
That is what I've been told, that I believe we had asked for numbers to understand,
Yeah.
items like how, what do the enforcement numbers look like in the corridors? And so.
Do you
this is what
perhaps
I was
know,
told.
is this something that is generated via VSA?
I don't know if
Or are
it's
they-
generated via BSA. He did tell me that the employee that would have worked on this was out of office for the majority of last week at a training or conference. I believe
They're
Director
upset.
Van Fossen was at a conference, and I don't know if this employee was at a training. It was a different location, I believe.
I thought we used the cloud database, but I guess I could be wrong.
Yeah, and I can certainly ask additional questions, and we can ask that question again at our next meeting.
So is the ask then of the department that we want the report to discuss in committee? if we're gonna-
Correct.
Or is it that they're going to be here to discuss?
Ideally, I would love for them to be
Okay.
here in order to discuss the
Right.
report that we receive in our
Right, right.
packet.
Okay,
So that would be, yes. That is the request.
Quick question on item E, the budget priorities, I can't recall, do we need to move those so those can be added into?
You can, yeah, make a
if
motion. for it
Oh,
Formally.
I would motion to move these 5 priorities.
okay. Proper motion has been made. All those in favor, please say aye. Motion passes.
Sorry, just wanted to make sure we got that off. the
Yeah,
table.
thank you for that reminder. I appreciate that. Any other business up for discussion or final comments? Okay, with no other business before us, we are adjourned at 4:12 PM.
Thank you.
Thank you.